Hello, this is Joel. Today's going to be a couple of firsts. This is going to be my first do-it-yourself video, and it's going to be the first time for me to install the Harley-Davidson Detachable Tour-Pak conversion kit, and we're going to be doing so on a 2017 Harley-Davidson Road Glide Ultra. Now, I've already taken the kit out of the box, so we don't have to spend a whole lot of time going through that. But I'll kind of go through the different segments of the kit, or parts of the kit. Starting out with, this is your antenna relocation bracket. This is the actual bracket that's going to go down on the bottom of the motorcycle on the left hand side of the frame. While we're discussing the antenna relocation bracket, if you have a CB already installed, you'll need to do an additional purchase for the CB antenna relocation. But these are your connectors, and then of course this is an extension to extend the antenna cable from where it hooks up at the Tour-Pak currently down through the frame and then down to where this antenna is going to be. You also get a tag relocation bracket. This is going to go behind the tail light, and the tag will be just above the tail light. The whole tail light and housing and mounting comes off, and then this goes in behind that. So in chrome. This is the hardware that everything's going to mount up to on the bike itself. This is your quick disconnect hardware on the bike. It comes with its own set of instructions, by the way. And then you've got the LED saddlebag lights, because of course when you take the Tour-Pak off, you're not going to have your turn signals. This is the same. If you go buy the kit, this is what you get. If you just buy it separately, it comes with its own set of instructions. I know I've seen out there on YouTube a couple of people asking, well, can you get it with the smoke? The part number in the catalog for this detachable kit is 53291A. That's for the chrome kit, which is what I purchased for mine. I don't see an option for the smoke colored lenses as part of this kit. And then last is your actual Tour-Pak mounting bracket. Of course, this is chrome, and there's another set of instructions that come in there with the kit. These instructions really only give you instructions for doing the antenna relocation and the tag. Everything else, it either refers back to your service manual or the instructions that came with the lights or the hardware. So, with that being said, let's get started. Okay, so to get started, I've already removed the saddlebags, and I've also removed the cover over the fuse terminal. And so the first thing we're going to do, it tells you pretty much on all the instructions, is to remove, which is the easiest thing to do, pull the main fuse on the motorcycle, just so you don't have any problems with shorting anything out. Of course, we're going to be hook wiring up some lights. So the next thing we're going to do, of course, I've already taken everything out of the Tour-Pak, but what we're going to do is we're going to open up the Tour-Pak, and we're going to, well, I got still a couple of things down in there, but what we're going to do is we're going to get right here to these connections. Once you open it up like that, we're going to disconnect everything from the Tour-Pak, and then we're going to take the Tour-Pak off. We're going to disconnect all the electrical from the Tour-Pak itself. Here we go. So this is your antenna. Push down on the clip right here, pull them apart. Same thing here. These are your lights, and these are your speakers right here. So you can disconnect all the electrical now. So everything's disconnected. I'm going to get ready to take the Tour-Pak off itself. There are 4 bolts to the mounting bracket underneath the Tour-Pak. 2 up front, 2 in the rear. And of course these have adjustments in it so you can move the Tour-Pak forward and aft. Came from the factory like this with it all the way to the rear. Of course, right off the bat, we want to put some stuff down to protect the paint in case we drop a wrench or anything along those lines. This is a 7/16 socket, so we're just gonna, I always like to start by just loosening this stuff up and don't take it all the way off, because you just never quite know what something may do. Okay, so I've already lifted the TourPak off, and of course once you take the 4 nuts off the bolts that are sticking down through the bottom of the TourPak, then you're left with just the TourPak frame there. Then I'm going to get a Phillips head screwdriver. I'm going to go ahead and take this backrest off too. Like a number 3 Phillips. Let me see. I'm going to take the strap off here. Okay. The back nut stays attached. Just so I don't have this flopping around, we'll go ahead and take it all the way off. I'll put these back on there for safekeeping so I don't have to look for them later. Set that off to the side. Be real careful here that you don't hit the tank with your screwdriver. Lift up the back, pull the seat back and out. Lay the seat back out of the way, and for just safekeeping, we'll go ahead and put this screw back in the hole for right now. Okay. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take off the TourPak support. You got 2 T40 Torx right here on either side. Again, break them loose. Hanging on by a thread. There we go. And it shouldn't slide anywhere or go anywhere. It's kind of like these down in these slots. There's no weight on it. So, and the reason why I went ahead and took the TourPak off the mounting bracket is because I'm going to have to put a new mounting bracket on it anyway. I've never done this before. Less likely to have a problem getting it out of here. If I did this every day, maybe I'd find a quicker way to do it, but that's the way I'm going to do it. Alright. Set those off. You should be able to pick this whole thing, just slide it right up and slides to the rear just a little bit. There you go, you got these notches on the front end of it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and prep these docking points. Now the instructions right here basically call for you to go ahead and mount these up and then put the bushings and all on them afterward. I'm electing to go ahead and do it sitting here on the bench. It's just less likely to drop something. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these 4 chrome washers right here. I'm going to drop one over each one of the posts on the docking. And I got it laid out here. This is your right side, this is your left side when looking toward the front of the bike. I'm going to do that right there. And I'll put the flat side of the washer down. We're going to take the thick part of the bushing here, and you got to notice there's a little slot right there, a little diagonal indentation in the hard plastic that's around this bushing right here. And I'm not too worried about it right now, but once we mount it up and once I snug it up, we're going to get these and we're going to put them in the horizontal position. So right now I'm just going to drop them over there, over each one of the posts. Whoops, on the longer ones you've got to put this bushing in. So this post right here is longer than this post. So on the longer post you put a spacer in there. Notice this is a fat part, so you put the fat part of that bushing down just like that. The instructions also say then you drop a washer, but these new screws, if you notice, they got a flange to them. Alright, so that flange, you're not going to need a washer. So all we're going to do is we're going to get each one of these screws started. Just like so. And this is a, I guess it's a T. Heck, gotta put my glasses on here. Yeah. This is a T30. And that's kind of snugging it up. I'll get it somewhere in the ballpark or horizontal, and I'll just barely tighten that up a little bit. I can get it perfectly horizontal once I get them mounted in the actual frame on the bike. Now we got to make an adjustment on this, and I'm going to use the mounting bracket itself for the TourPak to get these adjusted, because they're actually elongated a little bit to tighten it all up. Alright, then these are the mounting bolts for this hardware back to the bike, and you got this washer right here, this flat washer that goes in, so they're all set up and ready to go. Okay, so let's go ahead and install the docking hardware. I'm going to do it on the right side. I'm not going to waste your time showing you the other side. So this is what it looks like going in. The longer post is at the top with the spacer. Also, you can see this notch points toward the front, and the actual docking points are pointed outboard. Alright, so make things easy on myself, we'll take one of these bolts. You're going to have to lift up on it just ever so slightly to get it lined up. Anything like this, it ought to go in pretty easily with your fingers. If it doesn't, then you got it cross threaded. You sure don't want to cross thread this stuff. I'm sure Harley Davidson would like to charge quite a bit to have this hardware replaced. Put a little Loctite on here of the red. That's probably about all you need. Just going to let the bolt back and back out. Okay. Went in nice and straight. Get that just kind of screwed up in there just a little bit. I don't want to get it too tight until I'm ready for it. Ready to torque it down. Alright. There we go. This is a Torx 40, by the way. I think that's right. Yep. T40. Okay. Finger tight. Put the old torque wrench on it. This way. I'll just make sure I don't hit anything with it. And there we go. 2 and 3. And this is to 20 foot-pounds. And repeat for the other side. No big deal. All the hardware is mounted up. And remember, I told you it had those little notches on the sides of these bushings right here. And the bushings are oblong. So I've already gone through the process of adjusting it. And the way I did, and I'll show you in just a second, I'm going to drop the actual mount for the TourPak onto here and use it to make the adjustments on it. Now, depending on what you're using on this quick disconnect, you may have to adjust this a little bit, these bushings in or out. And so the instructions say that, you know, you can take that fat part of the bushing which is on the inside and flip it around and put it back on there to where the thinner side is in if you need a little bit less space. In other words, if these are spaced too far apart, either one of these, and you can flip the bushing around and put it back on that way. But those little notches that are on there, these stayed. I just left them because when I put the TourPak mounting bracket back on here, the front part of the mount actually hooks in right here, and this bushing is left open. And then it locks on this back bushing right here. Now, when I first put it on there with those little notches on these bushings at the horizontal position, it was just a little loose. In other words, I could pick up and push down on the back of it. So all I did was loosen the screw up just a little bit, and I turned it, and I turned it too much the first time I went to full straight up and down. which would give it the most amount of locking down. Well, it was too much. I couldn't actually lock it down. So I turned it back and I went to about the 2 o'clock position, and that seemed to work pretty good. So again, doing the final adjustments, the instructions talk about it. You know, flipping the bushings around the other way if you need more room to bring them in closer together. So this is what it winds up looking like. That slides in there. These come in, they lock, and it's solid. It doesn't move, doesn't rattle, doesn't do anything. So take the locks back out, back up and off. And of course what we'll do later is we'll mount the actual bracket to the TourPak. I'm not too worried about that right now. So the next thing we're going to do, the instructions actually call for putting the license plate bracket on and relocation of the antenna. While I've got it like I've got it right now, I'm going to go ahead and get it wired up, start doing the wiring for the lights. Okay, so I've unboxed the saddlebag mounted light kit. Inside the kit, instructions, zip ties, some adhesive, self-adhesive ties to mount to the back of the saddlebag, your right and left bag lights, and they've got an R on them on the inside of them, so to kind of help you out. So just keep in mind that right side is as if you're looking forward on the bike. If you're sitting on the bike, right side, left side. And then the wiring harness. Now, for me, my experience dealing with anything electronic that was going to require us to stick these on the bag, and then once they're on there for good. Instead of doing that, I'm going to plug it all up to the bike, turn the bike on, and make sure these lights work before I stick them to the bag, and then I got to turn around and take them back off because one of them may be bad, have a short in it, whatever. And again, I'm not saying that they will be, but once you put that 3M adhesive on that bag, you're not going to want to take it back off, and if you do, then you're going to have to strip all the glue off of it. Of course, if you had to take it back off, it's because the light's bad. So I'd rather find out ahead of time that it all works like it's supposed to prior to getting it all stuck on the bags and everything wired up, and then turn it on and it not work. For this, there's hopefully you can see it, there's a bracket right here, the whole battery hold down bracket. This rubber clamp, we're going to slide all of that down in there, and it's going to sit on this. Okay, I don't want to do that just yet. What I want to do is get this plugged up, put the fuse back in it, and make sure it all works before I get it in there. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this wire right here. A little difficult because they've got this seat on there, rider backrest. I'm going to plug, and of course you don't want to have anything plugged up right now, or have the fuse in right now where you're plugging and unplugging stuff. So that's where that Y goes right there. This is going back to the rear tail lamp. Okay. Now, to know the difference between the left and the right, you can see left is female, right is male. So I'm going to separate these out on either side. Lay that back over there like that. I'm going to get the two tail lights. This is the right. I'm going to put it over here on the right hand side. I'm going to plug that up just like that. So there's right. And here's the left. And plug this one up. Okay. our fuse. Now that everything's plugged up, I'm going to plug our fuse back in. There we go. Alright. And let's see here. Turn our ignition on. Look at there. Our lights light up. Tail lights lighting up. Okay. Let's see here. Alright. Right signal. Works. There it is right there. Turn it off. Left signal. Works. Turn it off. Let's see here. Foot brake. Both work. Foot brake with right turn signal. Dims back out. Left turn signal. Okay. Dims out. And then let's try handbrake. Okay. And same thing. We'll just reverse it. Left. There it goes. And right. There it goes. All works as advertised. Turn it back off. Disconnect our fuse. Let it finish. Alright. Disconnect the main fuse. So what we'll do is we'll unplug this. Set it off to the side. Unplug this one. Set it off to the side. And then we'll start to route these wires through here. Let's go ahead and unplug this. Just to make it easy on ourselves. Alright. I don't guess there's any chance of that falling back down through there. Alright. So what we're going to do, we'll get this module turned around in here. Bracket holding something right here, making it a little difficult. I'll tell you what we'll do, we'll get this over that, and then we'll get it situated. I think that's as far as it's going to go anyway. Alright, so that's what I'm learning right now. This part is not going to go all the way to the top, because it's resting right there on that frame. There's something that's down in there. So what I'm going to do, there it goes. Get that seated all the way down. That sits in there just like so. Okay. So again, we want this going right along just like that. And probably see how everything else is run underneath there. Do it just the way they got it. To get the wiring done just right, I decided to go on and mount the, now that I know that the lights work, I decided to put the lights on there on the bags, and then just set the bags up there to see exactly where the connectors are going to come out. So the instructions say to mix 50-50 alcohol and water and clean the area off where you're going to mount the light. So that's what I'm doing right here. Clean this off. Of course, I'll go out about around it a little bit more in the area I want to actually have that 3M tape attached to. And this is the left saddlebag. I'm going to set that off to the side. Of course, this is the inside right here. And what I did, I put a towel up there to keep the lid propped open so I can keep it sitting up straight while I put this on there. It doesn't hurt to practice how you're going to set this on there 2 or 3 different times. Because once you get it set, you ain't going to move it. What I'm trying to do, there's a lip. You can see the lip right there on the bag. And all I'm trying to do is come in just a little bit below that lip. What it says is get a grease pencil. There's a problem though. If you're going to get a grease pencil, you're going to have to put it on the bottom side. I've already got a mark. It's the lip. And the reason why I'm doing that, you get the towel out of the way. If I put it right there, everything looks golden. But when you clamp this lid down and lock it, the lid closes the gap up right there. So, of course, I don't want it rubbing. Going down the road, so I'm going to bring it down just a touch, about like that. That's all I'm going to do. We're going to stick it on just like that. Alright, so here goes nothing. Now, again, left and right lights. I guess if you tried to screw it up, it would look like that. I don't guess there's a way to screw it up. Only way to screw it up is screw it up right here, sticking it on there. So again, just let that take it nice and slow. And that's about 1/8 of an inch. What we want to do is press it on there really good. Let me pull this off and just see how this lid goes on there. And it's just barely off of it. What I wanted. And it says after you put this on here, don't drive it in any kind of hard rainstorms or anything. And I don't want to push on this lens too hard and bust the lens, so put a towel down over where my hand is. Press that on good. Okay, I've spent more time on this part right here routing these wires than I've spent on any other part of it to this point. So I deliberated on, of course, the instructions say to take the Y wire, which ties in right here to the brakes, splits into the brakes. That's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to have to run it down this side. From here back is the question, what to do with the saddlebag turn signal lights. All right, so put 2 zip ties over here. I've already put this panel back on just to make sure everything cleared. I tucked this wire just underneath this chrome trim right here. And what I've decided to do is run these. The instructions kind of have you bringing it all the way forward, the pigtail off the back of the tail light, bringing it forward to right here. There's a problem with this that I see. It is really hard to get your hands in behind the saddlebag, in between this, plus this is the adjustment for the shock. And there's really just no room to get in here, plus the wire, only way to do it is have the pigtail sticking up, and you just don't have enough to deal with. Alright, so what I decided to do is, let me take the camera off right here, off the tripod. What I decided to do, as you can see right here, you have these 3 points. And so what I'm going to do is run the wire across the back to this point right here and zip tie it. And it gives you just enough slack to untie this or unplug it if you got to take the saddlebags off without it interfering with the shock. What I'm going to do as far as mounting the 3M stickers on the back, I'm going to come right over here. The first sticker I put on there, I put it right about 1 inch right there below, just so it gets out from under this piece, because you don't want it, the actual wire being pinched by anything around here. So if you drop down 1 inch before you put the sticker, then the wire comes across right up underneath this and right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 1 sticker here, and then I'm going to loop this down like this and bring it back up so it plugs in to the back side of the shock absorber. So like I said, I tried about 15 different things, taking saddlebags on and off. I won't bore you with all of that, but that's the way I found seems to work the best. So again, when I get done, I'll show you what it all looks like. But you can see I've already zip tied one off right there. And I've taken the saddlebag off on this side and put it back on a couple of times. So the only thing left on this saddlebag is to put 1 more sticker on there and zip tie it. 1 more zip tie clamp. License plate bracket on here. Number 2 screwdriver. I'll take the lens cap off. We won't lose this stuff. Okay. Set that off to the side. That is a number 3 Phillips. Just like we used earlier in the seat belt. And here we'll have to remove this as well. Okay. So that whole bracket's going to come off of there.
doesn't have it. Not sure what's got it. Looks like there's a flange behind it. It's kind of snapped in there. Now it finally turned it loose. Not sure. This bottom lip right here was caught across the bottom right here. But you almost had to put some back pressure on the screw to get the screw to come the rest of the way off of that clip. Not sure exactly why, but it's now there. Alright, while I got everything torn apart right now, I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. Now, I use this right here. Aero Cosmetics Wash and Wax All. They also make a Plexol that I use on the windscreen. And I learned about this stuff cleaning aircraft. And that Plexol works great on those plexiglass windshields, all of the gauges, all the plastic stuff. It works pretty good on it. It's just real light. And the way I use this is I will use a microfiber towel, wet it and wring it out. I'll spray some of this on there. And you don't need to work an area that you can't immediately come back and dry. So it's pretty simple and it does a great job. It leaves a light coat of wax. Next time you come back and you want to clean it up after a ride and you've got bugs all over it, it makes it real simple. Because after using it a few times, it comes right off. So while we're here, it'll work on the chrome. Works on all of it. This is what I clean my bike with. I haven't stuck a water hose to it yet. So notice how it's wet right now. I want to keep it wet until I dry it off. I'd probably wait. I wouldn't put this on there if it's hot. So while it's like that, turn around, take another microfiber towel. Go ahead and dry it off. I've already turned some other people onto this and they love it. Because you can clean up a bike mighty quick. Just try cleaning up an airplane or a helicopter. I think this bike is tough. Do something that's about 10 times the surface area. And just like that, my friend, it looks like it just rolled off the showroom floor. Alright, I'll probably hit it one more time. I want to get this area cleaned up first. Alright, so I think this clip right here has got to come off. Well, it says leave it there, so we're going to leave it there. Alright, I'm going to thread this back through. This is the way it goes. And these little clips evidently go down in there like so, just like the old one did. So it's going to go in there just like that. Then we'll come back with this one. And we'll feed our electrical wire back through. And it's going to go on just like that. Alright. And then I guess we'll just thread this through all three pieces. Alright. That's what I was afraid of. The bottom part of this clipped out. You gotta get that little plastic in behind it. There we go. Still right there. Let's back it out and have another look. Just have another look. That obviously is supposed to go inside just like that. Let me hook it on there first and let's see if that works. It's tight with 2 layers of stuff in there. It is lined up, so this should all go back together now. There it goes. It grabbed. Make sure it's square. Looks decent. It does. Yeah, it's snugged up good. Take this, turn it back around, plug it in there like it goes. Just plug it back up like it goes. And back with the lens cover. Again, we'll put get both screws started before we snug up one side. Good. And then the other side. Alright, so now we're going to put the antenna relocation bracket on. And sorry about that, I hit it with my foot. Anyway, I've already, I'll kind of separate this a little bit so you can see it. I've already taken and put the antenna mount or the antenna connection right here, connector, the jam nut, a lock washer that came with it, and another jam nut, and I've already put them on there. And of course you want about a good thread anyway, and all I'm going to do is I'm just going to snug that up hand tight for right now, and I'll put a wrench on it after we get it mounted up. We got to take this screw off right here, and it says discard it. So this is a T40. I've got a long extension, try to stay back from anything so I don't hit anything. It wasn't all that tight. So I thought it was, the back nut was mated to it. It's not. That's a half, by the way. So you probably can't see now. I'm sure my arm's right in the way. But I had to put a 1/2 inch box in on the back side of it. Alright, so we're going to discard that. I'm sure there's a, and there is, there's an, okay, it's a flanged 1/2 inch nut on the back side of it. Okay, so I'm going to take this, take our new, make sure it's, that's not a Torx, by the way, that is an Allen. Is a 3/16 Allen wrench, and seeing how I don't have an Allen head, what I'll have to do is maybe torque the back side of it. Is exactly what I'll have to do, and hold it with this. There it goes. Okay, so we can put this and this away. Have to get a deep well socket. And a 1/2 inch deep well. And we'll take our 3/8 inch, 3/16, excuse me, Allen. Hold that. And run this nut back up on there. Now, because we want this somewhat straight, straighten it up real quick before we tighten it down. Okay. And tighten to 30 foot-pounds. And wouldn't you know it. Torque wrench is just a little too long. That's alright. I think I can make it work. There it goes. That's good enough. Alright, that's our bracket on. Okay, now that I got the bracket on there, I'm going to go ahead and secure the antenna plug to the mount. Let's see here, this ought to be the right way. I'm just going to snug this down. It helps turn it the right way. Okay, so that's that. And then we're going to hook this up. Insert it in the bottom, and then screwing that on. That's only required to be really finger tight. Okay, so that didn't take me just a second to figure this one out because there's not a whole lot of options. So really, there's the antenna mount. This is from the left side of the bike. Again, and I'm glad I didn't do this, I was anticipating this antenna. And so anyway, it says leave a little slack at the bottom. So what I'm going to do, these make great wire ties right here, or a place to tie off to run wires. So don't have a whole lot of grip to it. I'm just going to ease that up there. And I'm glad I didn't, because see, here's the plug for the bags on the other side. And I was anticipating this, so I didn't zip these up real tight. Or I didn't zip tie that one off, because thought I might wind up having to do this. So they gave you 3 ties to go with it. And so I need just enough slack to get this antenna probably over that right there. Now if you look, and you really can't see, but here is the original harness going to the pack, and it's got all 3 of these tied together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect these 2, because these will probably be routed somewhere else. This is your antenna connection right here. So this is going to have to go somewhere like this and up over the back side of the seat. And I need, because that's going to come up and connect somewhere in here, so I need this really come back around somewhere around in here. So those 2 might work out just fine. I may have to I'll figure out how to zip tie it later, but this is how it's going to be connected, because I still got to figure out what I'm going to do with these after everything's done. But simple answer is I can tie this back like so, get it back here in this corner. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's kind of hard to work camera in this, but somehow, some way, this is going to go around behind the seat, or it's going to lay back here like so when the travel pack's not on there. So I'll tidy all of that up later. Right now, I just need to get this zipped off to where there's a little bit of slack. These are not the best zip ties in the world. Okay. And again, there's my plug for my tail light on my bags. Okay, and we'll cut these 2. I got plenty of zip ties, may have to tidy up some more stuff later. So now the antenna's run. Alright, so I put the, after I got the antenna, of course I just screwed the antenna back onto the base. The only thing I did is I put a tie wrap right here where the antenna, where I folded it back, put the seat back on. Alright, so for the final piece of this, all I did was I set the bracket like I did earlier back on there, locked it in, picked this up, set it back down on there with the bolts on it, and I'm going to take the nuts and tighten them back down. And of course I got the bags back on there, put everything back on it as it was. So at this point, we're going to put all this back on there, hardware. Let's give it the old check. I'll get a plug for that. Take it off, unplug our stuff. All that's disconnected. Up and off. We'll set it down somewhere safe. So I hope this video helps anybody. I know I went looking and trying to find something. The reality of it is, doing all of the videos and everything took me a little while.
And I probably spent more time trying to figure out how I wanted to tie the wiring in than actually doing the work itself. So hopefully by showing you some of these things, you can speed yours up. It really wasn't that big a deal. Wasn't that hard to do. Use simple tools. And so hope you enjoyed the video, and safe riding out there. Happy Memorial Day.